I sat down with ChatGPT and wanted some suggestions on what it would take to balance America's budget shortage of $1 trillion per year. Here is what it said. To generate approximately $1 trillion in additional tax revenue annually, I would introduce a new bracket for incomes over $5 million at 50%. Increase the rate for incomes over $1 million to 45%. Projected revenue would be approximately $175 billion annually. Tax all capital gains as ordinary income regardless of income level. Projected revenue approximately $175 billion annually. A corporate tax rate hike increase from 21% to 35%. Projected revenue approximately $225 billion annually. Carbon tax start at $75 per ton of CO2 emissions. Projected revenue, $175 billion annually. Wealth tax for ultra-wealthy 2% for net worth over $50 million. 3% over $1 billion. Projected revenue $250 billion annually. Also, I would recommend estate tax reform, lower the exemption to $2 million, and increase the top rate to 55%. With a projected revenue of $40 billion annually. Minimum corporate tax 20% on book profits for companies with over $100 million in profits. Projected revenue $35 billion a year. Financial transaction tax 0.5% taxed on the sale of stocks, bonds, and derivatives. Projected revenue $200 billion a year. Broadening the tax base, significantly limit deductions and exclusions for high-income earners. Projected revenue, potentially $125 billion annually. International tax enforcement, aggressive measures against tax evasion and profit shifting. Projected revenue $75 billion annually. These more aggressive measures could potentially bring the total projected annual revenue increase to around $1 trillion per year. Then I asked Chat that in the case tax increases were not possible, case would be impossible. What would you suggest we cut in expenditures? Make $1 trillion effect worth of budget cuts that would affect workers the least. Reducing federal expenditures by $1 trillion annually without significantly affecting workers is a complex and challenging task. It would require a strategic approach that balances fiscal responsibility with minimizing the impact on essential services and the workforce. Here are some potential areas for budget cuts and efficiency improvements. Defense spending. The U.S. defense budget is one of the largest in the world. A reduction in defense spending through measures like closing overseas military bases, reducing procurement of expensive weapon systems, and streamlining operations could contribute significantly. Estimated savings, $125 billion annually. Healthcare cost efficiency. The U.S. spends a significant amount on healthcare with mixed outcomes. Implementing measures to reduce healthcare costs, such as negotiating drug prices, reducing administrative overhead, and emphasizing preventive care, could yield substantial savings. Estimated savings, $250 billion annually. Reduce spending on non-defense discretionary programs, focusing on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, and streamlining services. This would include cuts in areas like foreign aid, education, and housing, but carefully preserving essential services. Estimated savings, $75 billion annually. Medicare and Medicaid reforms. Similar to Social Security, incremental reforms in Medicare and Medicaid, like better fraud prevention, cost-effective service delivery, and value-based care models, could reduce costs. Estimated savings, $125 billion annually. Social Security reform. Adjustments to Social Security, such as gradually raising the retirement age, modifying the benefit formula, or applying means testing for high-income retirees, could generate savings. However, these changes must be carefully designed to protect current retirees and low-income workers. Estimated savings, $75 billion annually. Welfare program reforms. Streamline welfare programs to improve efficiency, prevent duplication, and ensure benefits are directed to those most in need. This would require careful implementation to avoid adversely affecting vulnerable populations. Estimated savings, $35 billion annually. So you have it. If we wanted to solve the problem rather than burden future generations, these are some of the hard questions. Think about it. We all should.